College life. Young people excitedly look forward to the freedom and new experiences, to gaining knowledge and equipping oneself for life. But there's so much that's unexpected: the hard work, new relationships, the struggles, the disappointments. But also the amazing victories and new ways of having fun that begin on the first day as a freshman and continue all through graduation. We'll show the real story of college life and what it means to be a college student. Welcome to campus. The start of the academic year means different things to different students. Freshmen move into dorms, make a new home, and hopefully new friends as they learn to navigate the campus environment. For upperclassmen and upperclasswomen, it's back to the grind after summer break. The hard work continues, all the more complicated for those transferring in from another college. For those beginning their senior year, it means college life is nearing the end and the real world awaits.
I was scared towards the end of high school if I could repeat the success that I had there, because I knew high school was a whole different ballgame from college. I was always a focused student, always someone who tried hard, always someone who did things that other students wouldn't. So it's going 110% on projects and having the satisfaction of doing well in my work. So grades were important to me, but I also knew the importance of doing clubs and activities. And then transitioning from Avon to Purdue, and then specifically to FYE, it was very similar to what I expected. The workload pushed me a little bit. It wasn't crazy, it didn't hit me like a truck, but for right now, engineering class itself is a whole lot of abstract thinking, not concrete ideas, but more so learning how to work as a team, learning specifically Excel spreadsheets, and then more so like complex problem solving, so kind of putting you in the mindset of engineering. So what I expected was something more technical, but what I got was something more broad, which I think is going to help in the future when I actually have to focus on the technical details. So as far as picking a major, I knew that I had to do something with airplanes. As a small child, I always went to air shows and watched airplanes, and I was obsessed with them, and so I knew I had to do something. So I decided to go into the engineering side of things, so hopefully I can do aerospace engineering, which combines, calculus and science with my love of airplanes, which sounds perfect. I would love to, in the future, when I'm thinking about jobs, be applying to Boeing, Lockheed Martin, big aerospace firms, which is my dream, but obviously right now as a freshman, beggars can't be choosers, so I know that the rigor is going to step up. I'm always someone who, when I'm frustrated, when I'm not satisfied with my work, I put in more time into that work. I don't, take a step back and, go for a run or something. I put more time into the work, which some people don't find progressive, but I like to pour my time into my work, especially if I'm not satisfied with it. So when classes get tough, it's just adding more time to it. When job offers aren't coming the way I want to, it's reaching out to more companies. I'm taking an introduction to professional practice, so I'm learning, resume building skills. So hopefully in the future with career searches and whatnot, those will prove fruitful. I'm just really hoping that the continued effort that I put into things, that is sometimes more than other people, will kind of set me aside and allow me to have success in what I do.
Many students have similar experiences, but sometimes it's the different experiences that are most telling. And nowhere is that more true than when it comes to expectations and whether or not they are realized.
I think a lot of people don't know that college doesn't work out the way you plan.
Right.
Obviously not for everyone, but sometimes. I thought I was gonna do biology, I was so sure. Came in, just a little cocky.
Yeah.
But
A little bit.
but yeah, and then I, hit that wall second semester freshman year, and that was hard. I just didn't see myself doing that, and it was something I wasn't expecting. So
Yeah. I think it happens. I think everybody hits a wall at some point in their college experience, in life in general. And we all have to learn that difficult lesson of understanding we have to take advantage of those resources when we're struggling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let that cockiness go. So don't beat yourself up too much.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I just, I wish I gone asked for help from my advisors, because they were a lot nicer than I thought they would be. And even just if I took advantage of different resources, if I applied into exploratory studies, for example, which is a great outlet for people who don't know that, or don't know what they want to do in college. And so I should have gone that route, as opposed to oh, I'm going to be a biologist.
Yeah.
And I set myself back a whole semester.
Yeah.
But,
I think it's all a part of the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Continuing to learn and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So just be encouraged. It's gonna be all right, and you're on a good path right now. So just stay in it. Stay in it.
You're right. Ever since freshman year of high school, actually, my parents were like, bombarding me with questions like, what are you gonna do for college? Because we gotta prepare for that. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna study? Where are you gonna go? And so that was always at the back of my mind, and I was like, oh gosh. So I was like, well, I guess I gotta make a decision. And so I had to make that decision based off of what I knew. And what I knew was what I was good at. And what I was good at was biology. And instead of like, I want to do biology or I'm going to do biology, it was like, I guess I'm going to do biology. And that's what I didn't realize I was saying until I got here. Looking back, that was most like, didn't want to disappoint my parents, didn't want to let my family down, especially since my extended family, like they wanted STEM majors. And my dad, like, he said that if he could go back to school, he'd be in engineering. My mom said if she could go back to school, she'd be a doctor. And so like, I felt all this weight. And maybe they didn't mean for it to be weight. They just, were just expressing what they wanted. But I just felt all this weight, and I was like, I gotta carry that. And by carrying that, I mean, I have to live that up through me. And so that's why I felt like I had to make that decision. But now, I was like, after I had that conversation, my dad's like, we're not gonna be there with you when you move out, when you get your first apartment, your house, your career. We're not going to be there. We're here for you now because obviously, like, we're your parents, but you're gonna live your life on your own at some point. So you can't be doing something for us when we're not there. And I was like, that makes so much sense. And so that's why now I'm doing a lot more of what I need to do or what I want to do for myself. And it just all works out at the end of the day, because if I'm doing my best in my best environment, then that just helps my parents a lot more, because then they don't have to worry as much about me. So before, it was more about like what I thought others wanted, and I left myself out. And now that I'm, looking into myself, taking care of myself more, doing what I need to do more, that helps me, that helps other people a lot more than I thought it would be. And so everyone gets their fair share.
The biggest thing is society will trick you and make you think that you have to have it all figured out. And the craziest thing about it is Big Sean and
What?
All Figured Out. We were just listening to this the other day.
We were the other day.
And on his album All Figured Out, the last line of his last track, All Figured Out, I think his last track, says the only thing I really figured out is that I never had it all figured out. And you don't. That's a part of the journey of life. So no, that's why I tell Peter all the time, like, it's not about that. And I have people in my corner who have to continue to tell me that, because I'll forget real quick. You know what I'm saying? It's the perfectionist thing. And that's why I'm like, don't be wishing. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Unquestionably, one of the most difficult things about college life is moving away from home and family. There's excitement in starting this new life, but sometimes sadness about leaving behind the world that was known.
Not having that solid, big group of friends wasn't too much of a factor for me, only because my best friend also went here. We've grown up together. We've been best friends since second grade. We live 2 minutes apart at home. We live 2 minutes apart here. So when I actually moved to Las Vegas after college, that's the longest we're going to be apart from each other, so it's very sad. But she definitely was that little anchor for me that I could still talk about home with her. For me, the biggest adjusting period was not even being a part of or having that solid friend group. It was more not having my family right there to go to. My cousin is my best friend. So I think that it was definitely a hard adjustment. I came from a school that was it wasn't cliquey, but people were very set in their ways and wanted to hang out with the same people. And if you weren't like someone that your parents grew up in the hometown and everyone knew everyone, it was kind of like different. When you come here, you have to learn how to adjust. And I think that this school has taught me how to adjust. Now I'm like, okay, send me anywhere, I'll make friends. But at first I was not like that. I was like, okay, I need someone to tell me or give me some structure on how I'm supposed to do this, because you just don't know how to navigate everything at first.
For many students, Greek life provides a soft landing in making the transition from home to campus. Joining a fraternity or sorority and moving into a house gives the comfort of a home-like setting and an instant opportunity to make new friends and enjoy a support system with newfound brothers and sisters.
In high school, I kind of played with the idea of joining a sorority. None of my family has done it. I didn't really have any close friends that were in a sorority, so I kind of just heard about it. I thought it'd be something I was interested in just because it's part of being something bigger than myself, and through high school, I always had something along those lines. After I played with the idea, I kind of talked to some people who were in the Greek community here at Purdue just to see what they had to say about it. And afterwards, after those conversations, I was very convinced. You know, you're told that you have a ton of new friends that, you know, you would have never had before, which is true. I look at my roommate, and we've told each other if we had never had Alpha Xi Delta to bring us together, there's no way we'd ever be friends. You know, two complete opposite majors, two different personalities. There's no way our paths would have crossed.
So since I can't get into bio, I'm taking a bunch of econ classes because I think I'm gonna pick up a major.
You should take
Are you already? You're double minor. Okay, so I was gonna major in dual minor, and now I'm gonna double major in minor.
You know, Greek life gets a really bad rep in a lot of universities. A lot of different universities, or especially parents, kind of think that Greek life and the Greek community is negative on the students, and it doesn't really bring anything except for the social atmosphere to a university. You know, I would share with them that the students in the Greek community have a higher GPA than regular students. I would tell them that we do a lot more community service and philanthropy than the average student. That there is a social aspect, but it gives you so much networking, and you meet people from other chapters, from other organizations, and even faculty members that you would have never met before. I would encourage them to look to those positive sides and at least try to go through recruitment if they're thinking about it. You know, if you go through recruitment and you realize it's not for you, then that's okay, but at least give it a chance.
When I'm batting, I'll normally step out of the box and look down the right field line and kind of just take a deep breath and step back in the box and just kind of clear my mind, like especially if I've had a bad prior at bat, just kind of flush that, and it's a game of failure. Like if you succeed 3 out of 10 times, you're great. So it's just kind of having that mindset that even if you failed the last 2 times, this time could flip the script for you. There are a lot of people that think being a student athlete is, you know, just showing up to class or not showing up to class and you're going to get an A because you're branding the university on your shirt and it's what you do every day, but ultimately it's not like that. And in my opinion, we have to work a little bit harder because we do stick out a little bit more, but it's something that I love to challenge me every day. I've thought about, do normal students have it easier? Well, I wouldn't necessarily say so because I can't even think of one of the friends that I have that isn't playing a collegiate sport here at Purdue. They have a job, so I feel like it kind of balances out now. It's not as rough of a schedule, like when you wake up at 5 and go to weights, it's go time, whereas if you go to work, you can kind of still walk in a little, you know, I'm not ready to go yet, and that's fine. So I guess it could be a little more challenging, but ultimately they kind of still have the same workload, but it's not as demanding, if that makes sense.
We usually come to the gym at night around 7 to 9. It's usually a 2-hour affair. Back home it used to be like an hour, but here we go more seriously with my friends, so it's a good way to end the day. It's like a great way to de-stress. And then it's also like a great hangout spot for me and my friends. It's all about kind of committing yourself to working towards a better you. So it's an ongoing project, and I realized that academics by themselves weren't everything, so you have to focus on your mind, body, and spirit. So yeah, so it's all about kind of contributing to your physical form so you feel better in your mental form. There was a period of time where I didn't go to the gym for about 3 weeks because everything just kind of piled up, and I decided, it's time to kind of make some room for the gym because it helps clear your mind and it helps kind of focus on your academics, because when you take a break, you're kind of more focused when you go back to them. So it's a nice kind of stress reliever in that way.
There's no question. Study and academics are a major part of college life, but it's not all work. Making new friends, enjoying social activities, supporting each other, and yes, just hanging out and having fun gives an important balance to the rigors of study and making good grades.
So personally, I definitely find a huge value in my social activities, in my social life that I've made here. I would like to think that my college experience would be very different had I not made the friends that I made, gotten into the groups that I became involved with. Not only do I have a support group, but it made college fun for me. I always have to, check in with myself, am I doing okay? Am I doing well in courses? Because yeah, college is a time where you have to both sprint and you have to run a marathon. No one's Superman. So as much as we'd like to believe that, oh, I got this on my own, I can do that. Sprint marathon, I'll run that. You get tired, you get exhausted, and so you need to have, a system to fall back on, or a support group that you can lean on when you meet those moments of exhaustion, so that they can pick you back up. You remember your goals, you remember your, why you're here, and so then you can attack the day again, day to day, semester by semester. I personally like to, surround myself with friends who are motivated, who are ambitious, because we'll keep each other on our toes. Hey, you said you were doing well in this class. Are you? Well, kind of, sort of, maybe, and so we'll check up on each other. And sometimes we'll even ask, let me see what your work was. And so we keep each other honest in that fashion.
A lot of the times my friends can serve as advisors, so they help me in certain ways, whether it's homework, whether it's personal problems that I'm having. But honestly, there's really like two stages of issues that I have. So there's the ones that I can ask my friends for help with, which is like homework, tests, getting ready for exams, when are we going to the gym, stuff like that. But then any kinds of like self-doubts that I'm having, the big one for me is always thinking that the world is way harder than it really is. So I'm always really hard on myself. I find that the expectations that I set for myself sometimes aren't achievable, they aren't realistic, and people don't expect me to do that much, but I put it on myself anyway, which is always a big concern that I have. But oftentimes when I talk to my friends, they reassure me that, I'm doing great, I make sure that they're doing great too. So it's kind of this like symbiotic relationship. I haven't taken biology in forever, but it's like a beneficial relationship for both of us, that we reassure each other, build up our confidence, stuff like that.
The struggle that I had was making friends right away, and in order to make friends, I had to get out of my comfort zone. I was super introverted my freshman year, and so some small things that I did is, if I was at the dining courts, I would go up to people that I would have seen in my dorm room or down the hall that I had at least recognized, so I wasn't as uncomfortable approaching them, and I'd just be like, hey, can I sit with you guys? I've heard from feedback from other people, they find me as being scary because I'm tall, I have big boned, and so it was something that did catch them a little off guard. But once I sat down and they, figured out who I truly, was, and I wasn't out there just to hey, I want to sit with you guys because I'm alone, but it was truly a friendship that I would make, they were fine with it. Slowly from there, that's how I overcame the not having friends, feeling like I was alone. But once I was able to gather a select group of friends and move on from there, everything with campus, going to class, balancing softball, it made everything a lot easier to know I had a good friend group to go home to.
We came into school not wanting to be roommates. We wanted to go our separate ways. We'd been the
roommates
twins
for 18
all
years,
through
and
high
everyone
school.
knew us as the twins.
But it was honestly, once we had that separation and once we had to make time to see each other, I think our relationship got better. We got call
closer.
each other and complain about stuff or talk about things, or we'd go out of our way to go spend time with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that made it.
Made us better roommates,
yeah, it was good
and
for
better
us
friends.
to have that separation, to make us want to be with each other rather than have to be with each other.
I think sometimes people just set these expectations, and there's so many. They're even I'll talk to freshmen now, and they're I want to do this in here, and do this by my senior year. And you don't know what's gonna happen. There's so many things that I have experienced throughout my college career that I'm I can never have imagined I would have gotten involved in that, or never imagined I would be in that experience. Or, even I gave a speech for BGR, and I said, if you would have told me that I was gonna be vice president of the school, I would have literally said you're crazy, because there's no way I could get in front of people and speak like that, because it's just not who I was when I was a freshman. But you learn and you adapt, and you learn things in your class that you apply to your social life too. But I think for people that are going into college, there's a good amount and there's some security in setting goals and expectations. But I think that goals are very different from expectations. I set a lot of goals for myself. I said I want to be involved, I want to be social, I want to have a good college experience, but I also really want to gain a great education out of this. I think when you say, I want to do this club, this club, this club, well, look at all the clubs. Or like, look at all the activities you can do, or look at all the friends you can have, not just your group of friends you went to high school with. So sometimes they just need to let life take its course.
I found a bit of a family in the Black Voice of Inspiration. I have, a lot of friends that I made there. My choir director's fantastic, not only as a choir director, but also as a mentor of mine. It's an outlet for my creativity. I believe that I'm a creative individual, and it gives me that room to, explore some of these options, some of these skills and, strengths that I didn't realize that I had. I did do choir, earlier in my life, but then I stopped cold. And so when I got here, my choir director, he found me. He's like, hey, join my choir, just to check it out. I checked it out, hook, line, and sinker, right there.
I'll take it just a little faster to help out your breathing.
Life is more than just classes, exams, or, out in the professional world. It's more than just the reports you have to write. You got to juggle with multiple stuff in your life, other activities you may be involved in. And so it's healthy, and not only healthy, but it's important for students to be able to start balancing that now while they're in college as opposed to later, because employers are looking for well-rounded individuals. They're not just looking for smart people, they're looking for responsible people, they're looking for leaders, they're looking for creative minds. And so all these activities are outlets for students to explore that, for them to, strengthen those skills, so that once they get out there, they're not only smart, but they're also talented individuals as well.
1, 2, ready.
I would say just all the experiences combined of, learning new things and meeting new people and growing in your knowledge of what you want to do into a career. I think just the whole experience is just life-changing totally.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite thing about college is just it makes me who I am. Like, I've learned so much about myself, and I've made so many connections with people that I never would have thought I would make connections with, and just learning how to actually be myself and learning how to put myself out there and tackle tasks that I wouldn't have done in high school, or be involved in things that I wouldn't have done in high school. It's just, I think it really made me who I am right now. And I went through that learning curve process when I was a freshman, and it really helped me get to who I am today.
With everyone in gear and finding their stride, the new semester is moving forward, bringing with it new challenges, new worries, and new strategies for successfully dealing with them. One of the great strengths of college life is that it teaches adaptability. We'll find out just how adaptable college students are in the next episode of Campus.